Can we talk about 2022 for just a moment? 2022 was a year of a lot of ups and downs for me personally, and maybe for you too. I became a dad right at the last days of 2021, so 2022 for me was learning how to actually be a father. I also started this YouTube channel just a few months ago, and it's been so cool how God has been leading it and the people like you I get to talk to and connect with. But 2022 was also the year I lost people, friends, and family members, and with that came pain, struggles, and questions of why. For many of us, I think that there was a lot of hope for 2022, that it would be the year that things not only got back to complete normalcy, and in the last few years, maybe during the lockdowns or during the transitions last years of masks and no masks and all that stuff, we found value and purpose in some things that we really hoped didn't go back to normal. For some of us, it was finally getting into better shape and maybe going to be more active in 2022. Or maybe for others, it was to be more sociable, that this was now a second chance at being able to walk around outside of our homes and maybe make some new friends, have some new opportunities to expand our circle. Maybe for some of us, it was being brave and going outside our comfort zone and doing the things we kept postponing because we were scared or afraid of what other people might think of us. Things like going back to school or starting a YouTube channel. Whatever it may be, I think if we were honest with ourselves, that as 2022 came and went, we didn't stick maybe with that ambition and that passion that we had going into the year. We didn't lose the weight that we thought we did or put as much effort into the gym that we said we would in our resolution. And if we were honest, this day looks more similar to last year's than we care to admit. So if that's you, it's okay. Let's talk about it and how we can find a better hope, a better plan, and a better purpose in 2023. Now, here's exactly why I'm making this video. I think for many people, it's hard to not compare ourselves to others and their success, or set a goal and then look back a year later and maybe feel some remorse or regret for not reaching it. Like, what happened? Where did the time all go? And I have definitely felt that before. This whole YouTube thing was a complete change in content direction for me. After I became a dad and realized I couldn't stream on Twitch like I used to back in the day, I was really lost for a second. All I had up to that point was all built on my Twitch channel. But as I studied YouTube more, I realized it would be a way better fit in this season of my life. But there was one issue though. This was a dead channel. With less than 300 subscribers and with more than half the year gone, I decided to go all in on YouTube and set a goal to hit 1,000 subscribers before the end of this year and prove that it is possible for a Christian, faith-based video, old dead YouTube channel to still find growth and success on this platform. If you're watching this video, we did it just in a matter of months. So thank you to every single one of you who watched the video, who hit the like button or subscribed and joined us on the journey. This is really just still the start of it all. And we have so much more in store, and I'll get to all that in a minute. I share all this not to brag, but to encourage you that you can do it too, whatever it is. If you are determined enough and set your mind on it. Now, understand you probably need to adjust the goals to be more realistic and within reason to your situation. You have to keep your right priorities straight. You have to keep your priorities healthy, straight, and realistic. You can't say you want to have abs of steel by January 1st and spend New Year's Eve eating and drinking everything in sight. So that's something right there, is know what your goals are and keep them realistic. Write them down, pray about them, and look at what is the most reasonable next step you can take. If it's YouTube, maybe it's not saying you're going to make 10 videos this week. Maybe it's just making one, or even less. Maybe it's just learning how to edit better, or whatever your weakest skill set is, or whatever is holding you back from making content. Maybe it's listening to a podcast by some experts and watching a few videos on the things you know you need to get better at. And not only will your skill and understanding on the subject improve, but you will also be more motivated to actually go and do those things if you make that a part of your rhythm. Because part of my whole point is truly I'm not anything special or different from you watching the screen right now. What helped me to reach my own goals this year was also not allowing comparison to rob me of my joy and stop me from doing what I felt called to do. Don't get discouraged and get stunned because other people are seeing more results and doing better than you are in the thing that you want to grow in or change in. Or because people think you are silly for chasing your dreams or that you are just wasting your time. Who cares what naysayers think? You think everyone believed in Steve Jobs or Apple when it was being worked on and started out in a garage back in the 70s? If you're thinking of making Christian content, let me just prepare you. I can tell you from experience, there are a lot of people that won't get it, that will think it's silly, And it will be an uphill battle, more so than if you made a non-Christian channel. I'm just gonna be real with you. But it's also one of the most rewarding. And this is what leads me to tip number 3, is I had to redefine what success is. I think for a lot of us in an area like YouTube or any social media platform, we look and think success is quitting a 9-to-5, having a rapid growing channel with all the money we could ever need piling up around us, getting Insta famous, and having all the check marks one could ever want. And there isn't anything wrong with having ambitions to build that. Don't mishear me. If you are feeling called to content creation in some form or another, these are great goals to strive for. But I think they make horrible definitions of success for a believer. Now, quick disclaimer, I think there is such a broad scope of what we could see as success or being successful that can be found just in the content creation space alone, let alone any other subject or goal. Which is why I think it's so important that you pray and ask God to lead you on what that is. My broad definition, though, of success that I could say be applied to each and every one of us is seeing success as obedience to God. This is why prayer, again, like I said, is so important. Being able to be in communication with God and hear Him on what He is pressing on your heart and telling you to do, and listening so well that you do it. Hear me on this. That might mean that you do blow up on YouTube and it does become your full-time job and gig. That might also mean that you never hit 1K subscribers. But in the trusting and obeying God, He will teach you and show you what it is you need to learn in that season. It's the blessings of being faithful when there is 5 and 5,000. Will you work just as hard if you feel like it's your calling when there are 5 subscribers, just as much as you will when there is 50,000 subscribers? So I think it would do us a lot of good if moving forward, we just see success as faithful obedience. I think as we talk about being worried about what others think or worried about looking silly if we fail, a passage that helped me, and maybe it'll help you with your goals in 2023, is Isaiah 26:3. You will keep the mind that is dependent on you in perfect peace, for it is trusting in you. Trust that if you are being obedient, you will find success. It might not be in the place you think it will be, but you can experience real peace when we are obedient and dependent on God. Okay, let's be real. That was a little bit of a tangent, I'll admit, but there is still so much work to be done for the kingdom in spaces like this, and I am so excited to see how God will use someone like you in this coming year. So do me a favor, if you have something in mind, comment it down below so I can be praying for you and your project this coming year, and we can encourage one another. But my last tip on what helped me reach 1K and what could help you is understanding what dependency on God is. When we are completely dependent on God, it allows us to have God-sized dreams. For me personally, what that means and looks like is I see this YouTube as an extension of my personal ministry that God has called me on. And if I'm faithful to what God is calling me to do, He will be faithful to reveal Himself and what the purpose of this all is. But maybe you're asking, what is a God-sized dream? It's believing in setting goals that can only be accomplished by trusting and relying on God. No, this isn't prosperity preaching. No, this isn't negating the aspect of hard work and needing to put in the time and energy, but it's doing all of those things to the max capacity as much as possible and trusting God to carry out the rest. God dreams are goals that without God in them and working through them might leave you actually looking kind of silly. But if He is in them, by this time next year, you will be able to look back on 2023 and see God's faithfulness and His moving in your life because of your hard work and obedience. So, what are my God dreams for 2023, you might be asking? Well, as I prayed for what this year will bring, here's what I really feel God putting on my heart. Our new goals for 2023 are as followed: that we will improve and make even better content than we already are in terms of quality and consistency by 3x by the end of 2023. That's goal number 1. Number 2, that this year would be the most generous year for me and my family because we never look more like Jesus than when we give. Number 3, that this year I would feel more closer to God than I ever have before. This includes at least reading the Bible all the way through once. And goal number 4, that we hit 10,000 subscribers on this channel to make a lasting kingdom impact, not just an influence. See, I told you, God dreams. Now, some of these have more specifics to them, like how much money we want to give away and other personal measurements that I didn't feel the need to share in this video because it's irrelevant. What is important and what I'm trying to show you by showing you my personal goals is that these are really only things that can be accomplished with God meeting us and sustaining us. And each of these, I believe, will directly affect this channel for the better. And as we reach these and journey to do so, we will be celebrating God showing up. So I hope you join us and subscribe if you haven't already. The road to 10K is long, but will be totally worth it if the gospel is preached to each and every one of those people. That's what I would love to be able to say. So what are you waiting for? Hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and want to help us make a kingdom impact. Check out this video right over here that YouTube thinks that you are going to like. But until next time, know that you are valued and loved. And I'll see you soon.